Hi guys, Nothing to Prove here. Today's a beautiful day because any day one can be out in the sun and on two wheels is a beautiful day. Yeah, we're on the SMT, the 890. So what's an SMT? SuperMoto Touring. Say, what is that? Well, remember back in 2009 when KTM brought out the 990 SMT? That thing was a raging bull, uncontrollable. Lots of fun, yes. Now they've brought it back, except now they have a 1290 GT, which is a heavyweight sport touring, and I want to look at this as the middleweight sport touring motorcycle. It's an 890. It's the same motor as the Duke and Duke R and Adventure, but it's the Adventure power scale. Say, what do you mean the Adventure? It's 105 PS, 103 brake horsepower. Not the Duke, which is 115, and then the Duke R, which is 121, but those are reduced in torque. This has the 100 Newton meters of torque, which for a supermoto and to be more streetable, yeah, you want torque, right? That's what this is. Also, what would I directly compare this to? This is Ducati Hypermotard 950. That's the only direct comparison I would compare it to. Now, if we say this is a sport touring machine, in the middleweight group, BMW 900 XR, also the Yamaha Tracer 9 GT, compare it to. Also, if you put a touring windscreen on here, that's the only way I would compare to those two bikes. You could also go with the Suzuki and the Kawasaki too, but they're heavier, different focus, and more sport touring. More motor, more weight, more money than this, although not that much more money than this or the Ducati. So those are the bikes I would compare it to. Now, I've been saying some of the numbers about this engine. It's the same as the 890 Adventure S. In fact, it's the same frame, same subframe, same swing arm as the Adventure S. Why do I say the S? It's not the R, Adventure R. That's a different rake and trail. So they're keeping this the streetable version, not the off-road. So those are some numbers, and that's the competition. But how do these numbers feel on the street?
The engine is edgy. It's like I want all or nothing. This is what the impression is giving me. It's saying let's go and let's go fast. I don't care who's in the way. Just get right out of my way and let's go fast. That's what this edgy engine is telling me. And the transmission too. The transmission feels a little more relaxed in the shifts than the motor. So, but together they will do whatever it is you want it to do. That is for sure. So, where is the power? Oh yeah, you got to keep it at five grand is where the power is. So the powertrain's getting 2 thumbs up for its intended application. Perfect. Okay, this is weird. This is really, really weird. The wind is hitting me all about, and then into my chest, and then it stops about right here, and then it starts hitting me about right in the visor, right here. Wow, that's interesting. You definitely need a sport touring screen or a touring screen aftermarket for this if you're going to do any highway whatsoever. The wind noise is just atrocious. Yeah, it's unbearable at highway speeds. You know, I'm doing 120 here. Okay, now there's a speed limit, so I gotta slow down. So, yeah, at a slower speed, more like 100, so 60 miles an hour, it's more tolerable. But you go over 60 or over 100, and yeah, you need a touring screen, guys. That is for sure. And this bike, that would be the first thing I would opt for, is a touring screen on this. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Let's come up to this awesome manually adjustable for compression and rebound, and it has these little clicks. You can just adjust them on the fly with your fingers. I like that. I wish all bikes had that instead of having to get out tools to adjust it. Yeah, WP Apex 43 millimeter diameter, 180 mils of travel on 320 brakes, KTM branded. These are from J1s. Same original ones that appeared on the 790 Duke 5-6 years ago. And then, yeah, WP Apex right there. Yeah, gorgeous still. 180 mils of travel on 2-piston KTM branded J1 brakes, calipers there on a 260. Now, those are again, the numbers. How do those numbers actually translate to you, the rider?
Now, this chassis is behaving very much like a supermotard. Well, that's because it is. It doesn't feel like the 890 Adventure. It really does not. It's like I'm on a whole different animal, even though it's the same frame and subframe and even swing arm as the Adventure. If somebody told me, if I didn't know that, I would disagree with them. Like, no, this is on the Duke frame. But no, it's not. It's the Adventure frame. And this front brake, I'm liking it. It starts to grab right away, which is a little different from the Brembo. So if you're used to the Brembo or the Hayes will grab right away. It's similar to that. Nissans are about in the middle. The rear brake is vague at first, but yeah, you can lock it up. It's vague at first, but it's okay. Now I'm used to it. So once it takes you just a few times of hard braking to get used to that rear brake, and then I'm like, okay, I get it. I understand. So together with these WP Apex 43s, yeah, you can just bang around corners with this bike and just fly. This chassis is getting 2 thumbs way up. Boom, boom.
Coming back to the bolted on subframe, and then this shorty can with this, goes with this SM style that you see there. And now, and look at down here, you got the Michelin Power GPs. Gorgeous tires, loving the grip, although they won't last very long. You do have room here for a top rack. The seat, it's really kind of hard, guys. But they're giving you lots of space to slide back and forth here, to where if you want to do some stoppies, wheelies, slide in and out, sit back on the bike, or even way up forward on the bike. That's your SMC or SMT style riding, of course. 860 off the ground, 15.8, but take a look at this tank. It's a little different. Yeah, it's more in the Adventure style. Notice I didn't say they copied the Adventure. It's different than the Adventure. It's smaller, only 15.8 liters. So they're shrinking things down. You can top this tank off and you really don't feel it. You don't feel the weight at all. Now at 194 kilos wet weight, how does this feel in, say, a little village, or if you're doing city commuting?
This thing makes an ideal city commuter with its upright stance, 180 millimeters of suspension travel. You have an upright commanding position to see everything all around you, everywhere. And you can dial back these WP Apex 43s for the rebound and compression a little bit, in case the city you're riding in has, some not so nice roads, or you get behind a bus like this. But the nimbleness and flickability, this thing doesn't take. It's like the Duke. I would say the 890 Duke, not the 890 Duke R. The R is more flickable, but this is more like the 890 Duke, or even the 790 Duke. This is fine, but really, this upright sitting, very upright commanding posture is excellent. Now the speed limit drops to 30. Let's see if we can catch some fuel mapping here. Imperfections. Oh, there. Okay, so the fuel on off is just a little bit snatchy. This must be the Euro 5 or Euro 5 Plus that it's doing, they're preparing for. This thing rails. If you said, well, list me a middleweight kind of sport touring, but more sporty city commuter, and if you got to go across town every day, this is the perfect bike. You can zoom in and out. I mean, you just squeeze the throttle and you're there, and then these brakes are so good, well, relaxed as compared to Brembo's. These J1 branded KTM, well, they're J1 brakes, but branded by KTM.
Standard controls here on the left and right. Mirrors, they actually worked pretty good. The 5-inch TFT, I do like it. It's very good quality, optically bonded, and also scratch and glare resistant, although you can see myself in this pretty good, can't you? Like in the TFT though, it is a very good, in my humble opinion, 5-inch TFT as TFTs go. When you see all the other 5-inch TFTs, I do like the Aprilia and Moto Guzzi 5-inch TFT, just about the same as this, because that's a member of the Piaggio group too. Overall, if you're looking for a middleweight sport touring bike with a heavy emphasis on sport and a lot less on touring, the Ducati and this are the two bikes I would recommend. Now, if you want to go a little more towards touring, put a touring screen on this, an aftermarket, they would have to replace all of this and then come up. I'm assuming that they're probably going to have some aftermarket companies putting on some type of touring screen on here for you guys. But seriously, KTM, the BMW, or the Yamaha, or the Ducati are the ones I would compare. Try to compare directly to this. You have two groups there. The Ducati and this are leaning way towards sport, and the Yamaha and BMW are leaning more towards touring. So that's the break there, and live long and prosper. All right, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this review. As always, guys, this bike is getting 2 thumbs up. If you have a little bit of hooligan nature in you, 2 thumbs up. If you want a tour though, look somewhere else. Ride safe, guys. That's most important on the list. And number 2, ride like there's nothing to prove. Take care, guys. Cheers.